Natasha Lytton, who is director of Seedcamp, which grew from accelerated to VC fund, and recently they just closed their sixth fund of $180 million, and they invest into early stage startups up to Series B. Great to have you here, Natasha.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be here.
So can you tell us about your journey? How did you get involved into the startups world, and how did you end up with Seedcamp?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to say it was one of these where I'd really planned it out and I knew that I wanted my career to be in VC, but that would not be true. Ultimately, what happened was I fell in love with working in startups. I was in my 20s. I was looking for, work where I really cared about the businesses we're building. I could get involved across all manner of things and feel a real sense of ownership. And that kind of started a decade ago now, and working in very early stage businesses. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't work out, had all manner of different experiences. And then really very fortuitously, the last startup I was at, which was in the food delivery space, sadly didn't work out, but Seedcamp was one of the early backers. And, it was as simple as I think I pinged Carlos, one of the managing partners, on Facebook, and I said, yo, are any of your portfolio hiring? He said, well, actually we are. How would you feel about working at a fund? And it was interesting to me, a few companies had approached me at that time, and I thought, wouldn't it be great, to take the learnings I've had from working with a couple of companies and actually be able to apply them across, a huge spectrum of early stage businesses. That was 7 years ago. So yeah, wow. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's great to implement your experience from the startup world into investing and helping other startups. And Seedcamp is generally a great force for the European startup ecosystem. So what is the investment criteria of the Seedcamp? And so any advices for the startups, founders which are raising capital?
Yeah, so look, we've been going for over 15 years. We've always been very passionate about Europe and, opening up all of Europe and access to capital. That was very much early on. Now we see there's much greater access to capital, and it's more about how do you get the best people and knowledge and speed and excellence around you. We're investing, it's always been early, it remains early. We do first rounds from kind of angel to seed. We can follow on up to Series B, but for first rounds, it's always that early stage, the angel to the seed round sort of deals. We can lead those, or we can come alongside others. We have a very collaborative approach in how we invest. And we're sector agnostic, so we're always investing in the newest technologies and applying our thinking and our lens of how you build great businesses across all manner of different sectors.
And what industries do personally excite you the most, and what trends do you see?
Yeah, for me personally, one of my the area that I'm most passionate about is health. Without our health, we have nothing, and I think it's one of these areas where it's so nebulous, it's so different based on different countries. It makes it very difficult based on, different regulations and markets and approvals. But, I think we have such a focus on curing people, whereas if we had a better emphasis on prevention and how we could, provide that to our people, I see, especially as we're living longer, how can we live longer in a healthier way? And how can we support our different people, our women in particular, and how they go through their health cycles and journeys, which, I'm pregnant myself right now. You definitely look at these things with a slightly different lens. And then, more broadly, how you can use technologies and emerging technologies across all sectors just to make life easier. And, we're seeing this in abundance right now with, the proliferation of artificial intelligence. We've been actively investing in businesses using AI across everything from, legal contracting to, generative forms for some time. But I see that really is an exciting kind of new era that we're moving into.
Yeah, maybe you can share as well some names of the companies, particularly in AI space, recent investments of the Seedcamp.
I mean, we've got a huge amount of companies invested in. Some that perhaps you might know more about are ones like Synthesia. So Synthesia is one that we invested in, I want to say back in 2018 or 2017, but essentially using AI to be able to create mass video and to be able to translate it into different languages. And we've seen, amazing applications of that, whether it's in sort of charitable cases and being able to take David Beckham doing a campaign for Malaria Must Die and translate him in 7+ different languages, to also seeing it in, and especially pertinent in a more remote world, in how you can onboard staff and teams in different countries and make them feel included and part of the experience. So that's one that we're really excited by.
Yeah, that's great. And as well, Seedcamp particularly invests into blockchain space too. You have a unicorn in your portfolio like Sorara, and as well, what is your opinion on crypto, Web3, and blockchain and development of these technologies?
Part of the beauty of our model and being sector agnostic is we can play and make bets in all manner of different spaces, and we're never afraid to do that. And So Rare is a perfect example of a business that, we came in very early at the pre-seed. It was about 650k euros at the time, and it's just had exponential growth. And it wasn't at the time, nobody was really talking about crypto, not in the mainstream back then, but for us it was that, taking an emerging technology but also coupling it with something where there's such love, and you take sports and you take people's passion for that, you can see this coming together of a perfect storm for that to be a big business. We've remained diligent though on not getting too carried away, and within our portfolio as a whole we're always tracking, well, what does our mix look like across different sectors and areas, and making sure we're not too overly indexed in one to throw everything else out of balance.
Yeah, so it's a great example of the company which tries for mass adoption and as well intersection of entertainment and blockchain tech.
But one's also like Ramp, so one of our companies based out of Poland, and they did a 70 million, big raise, I think maybe last winter. And that's a great example of like being able to provide the infrastructure across these different things, and huge opportunity, because when you've got this coming together of all these different people wanting to exchange, interact and build on these layers, that's been a great business as well.
And you're as well marketing and branding expert, and you talk a lot at the conferences about that. So what is your advice to early stage startups, how to position them in the right way, their brand marketing when they are on the low budget or zero budget? Any as well growth marketing techniques, secrets you can share?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really difficult, especially in the early stages when you're competing against much bigger players with much bigger budgets. I think being really laser focused about who are those disproportionately influential early customers and people that are going to really advocate for what it is you're doing and do a lot of that work for you is really critical. I think a lot of the time the mistake startups make is they try and be everything to everyone. And you can't be everything to everyone all at the beginning. So really defining, like, right now, who is it, if you've got the beauty of having product market fit, who is it that is loving what it is you're doing? How do you make them the centerpiece of all of your marketing, of activity, of your positioning, etc., and really enable them to advocate for you, and also know that it's going to change, and be comfortable with that, right? Your customers are going to grow and your market's going to grow as your business grows. So constantly looking back and testing your hypotheses and the language you're using and the work you're putting out into the world, and making sure that still resonates.
And how to make your target audience love you? Like, should there be any incentivizations, referral programs? So, like, how should your product or service be positioned so that customers come to you?
Again, look, it really depends on the nature of the product, and is there a way to build a natural viral efficiency and coefficient? And it's not necessarily guaranteed, but there are so many different ways of playing it, depending on whether you're in B2B or B2C. You can build a really compelling B2B brand that people love. And one of the best examples of that is Stripe, right? They started out building so intentionally for the developer, and they made them the focal point of their business, of their comms, of their marketing, of all their activity. And it spread because the developer is such an influential person within the organization. And they felt excited to use this incredibly simple technology because it made their lives easier. So, look, that's one example. On the consumer side of things, definitely we've seen all manner of things from kind of, heavily oversubscribed wait lists for crowdfunding and how you can bring people on the journey with you, to wait lists and sign up mechanics. It's about understanding the nature of your business and how likely it is you're going to be able to, create that swell around it and what's going to be the best fit. And also, if you're going down one of those tactics, investing in it, right? I've seen people go down all right, we're going to build loads of hype and excitement and build a wait list, and then have a wait list of people they do nothing with for 18 months. And that group of people is going to totally have forgotten about whatever it is you're doing. So think, like, if you go down any of these routes, it can't just be a flash in the pan. You have to have properly thought it out and make sure you're continuing to build hype and excitement with those people along the way.
Yeah, I agree with you. And can you as well share what characteristics, features do those founders possess, and what type of talents they should gather around themselves? Like you backed a lot of other unicorns like Vice, Revolut, UiPath, etc. So can you share your experience with working with
Look,
them?
every founder is different, but where they're not different is within their, unwavering belief and passion about what it is they're doing. And I think that is what's compelling. As investors, we're buying the person at the early stage. What you're drawn into is the vision and the belief that that person has, and your belief in them that they're going to go all of the way and bring people on the journey with them. Because if you as the founder can't tell those great compelling stories, well, how are you going to raise your next rounds of investment? How are you going to hire and attract the best talent? And how are you going to get customers to love you as well? So I think that element is really key.
Yeah, so for you, is the team the most important at early stage, or do you consider much the business model, product market fit, and etc.?
So for us, look, we're very comfortable at the early stage. Whatever the business you come and pitch us versus what it's going to become is probably quite different. And you have to be comfortable with that in the early stage. In the same way, look, we all see these kind of teardowns in these early decks of businesses. I think knowing the purpose and like what actually it is you want to set out to achieve long term is really key. But it's the belief in this founder matched with this market. We talk a lot about this idea of founder market fit, that it's the right coming together. And that this coming together, it's got to be a big enough market for it to be a VC backable business. And you have to believe that this founder who's coming at it is going to be able to bring people along on their journey and have a proper stab at going after that big market.
Thank you for sharing your advices with us and such interesting conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you.